let's just talk about a little bit about, too, one of the positive things, and then we'll get into this conversation about Trump as brought up by the email that we got. Look, many years ago, when Andrew Breitbart was alive, we had Breitbart and I would often have a little bit of a tiff on Twitter. And, I think the tone sometimes got a little bit heated, and I would attack and deflect like I do. But I want to say that even though people could have gotten the impression from that exchange that we really disliked each other, I should say that I only met him once in person, and I think he was a horrible, horrible scourge on this country, and that he did horrible things, and that his legacy was putrid. And so to see his legacy, his organization implode as it is now, under the weight of its own misogyny, cravenness, and I don't know, every other negative adjective you can come up with, every other pejorative.
You really have to put in dishonesty.
To say, in dishonesty, I'm really enjoying it. And it's probably not necessary for me to take another shot at Andrew Breitbart because he's dead. And, he may have been a good dad, but I wasn't his family. I was just one person who was living in the society that he was poisoning. And so from my perspective, he's a bad person. And so I have no problem speaking ill of him. And I actually think that, I don't know if you could demonstrate it, but I do think that the world is a better place, broadly speaking, without his voice in it. That doesn't mean that he couldn't have retired and just lived a nice life with his family and had no influence on the national discourse, but that wasn't in the offing. So when I see a reporter from Breitbart, I'm sorry, I used a term that is used in the context of real journalism. When I see someone who is working for Breitbart on Fox and talking about how both Trump's campaign manager was a bad person and that the Breitbart editors are a bad person, I just have to laugh and smile and think, boy, Andrew Breitbart would, and hope that Andrew Breitbart would look down from where he is, up in right-wing heaven, and smile and say, God, this is exactly everything. All the seeds I planted have grown up exactly as I had hoped. Here is Michelle Fields.
So, Michelle, let me start with you. Why did you resign?
Well, I realized that my company didn't have my back. I can't stand with a company that won't stand for me. They knew the truth from the very beginning. My editor, as soon as it happened, had spoken to Corey. He told me that Corey had admitted to it and I was getting an apology. So I stayed quiet. I wasn't going to make a big deal about it. Look, it's bruises, whatever. It's fine. I thought I'm not going to make a huge deal. And that didn't happen. I never got the apology. Instead, they embarked on this smear campaign against me. So they knew the truth. My company knew the truth, and they're siding with Donald Trump. And I have to say, when this happened, my Washington editor, Matthew Boyle, was telling me, oh, don't worry, this is going to be great because Donald Trump's going to give us so many exclusives now because they're going to feel like they have to do it because of what they did. This is how my company was looking at this. Instead of saying, wow, what happened? Are you okay? Let's defend you. They were thinking that this was a good thing because we would get more access to Donald Trump.
Wow. She's very adept. She found out that her company has no regard for the truth, is only out to enrich themselves in some fashion, looking for clicks, and is willing to smear people who absolutely have done nothing wrong or may, in fact, themselves have been victims. Wow. That must have come as a complete shock to her. Who would have possibly known that Breitbart, the website, was exactly like the man it was named after? And that Breitbart was still operating in exactly the same way in which it was when it got every single click that led up to that moment. Wow. Well, it's good to see that she has the integrity to realize that she's not going to take that personally. I'm sure she must have woken up one day and said, hey, wait a second. I'm not black. They can't do this to me. I'm not advocating for a position to help people. They can't do this to me.
I have a very strongly established record of being really cruel and lacking basic human decency. So clearly, I should be in the clear.
Surprise, surprise.
Dawn lights on Marblehead. Maybe if she's lucky, she can get a job at the Daily Caller.
Classy personal smearing and destruction at the
unbelievable.
Daily Caller.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can load it.
When we smear somebody, we hold our cups like this.